Rain lashes against the muddy ground. A flare crackles, casting long red shadows against the paddock fence. You hold your breath, muscles locked in terror, clinging to the belief that if you simply don't move, the giant standing inches away cannot see you. It is cinema's most famous survival tip. It is also a fatal lie. In reality, freezing before this predator wouldn't save you. It would merely serve you up on a platter. This is not a monster. This was a living animal, fighting for survival. In this dossier, we will move beyond the bones to resurrect its world. This is Tyrannosaurus Rex, the living dossier. Let's journey back to a world where the past is reborn. To understand why the movie got it wrong, we first need to understand the biological machine itself. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tyrant lizard king, ruling the late Cretaceous of North America some 66 million years ago. This was not a mindless brute. Standing 13 feet tall at the hips and stretching over 40 feet in length, it weighed nearly 9 tons. But the most terrifying statistic isn't its bite force. It's the brain housed inside that massive 5-foot skull. As our digital reconstruction isolates the brain cavity, we see something extraordinary. Massively enlarged olfactory bulbs and highly developed optic lobes. This wasn't just an apex predator, it was a sensory supercomputer. While the silver screen depicted a creature with a severe visual handicap, the fossil record introduces us to an animal engineered for total, absolute awareness. It was the ultimate biological scanner, designed to detect anything moving or still in its domain. Let's reconstruct the stage where this drama played out to understand why the movie's logic fails. We are in the Hell Creek Formation, a landscape far removed from the sterile, open paddocks of a theme park. This was a lush, subtropical delta, dense with towering conifers, thick ferns, and meandering river channels. In this environment, visual clarity was a luxury. The world was a chaotic tapestry of shifting shadows, dappled sunlight, and dense undergrowth. In such a complex ecosystem, reliance on movement-based vision would be a death sentence. Consider the prey: the duck-billed Edmontosaurus, the armored Ankylosaurus, and the three-horned Triceratops. Like modern deer or antelope, their primary defense mechanism against a predator wasn't always to run, it was to freeze. Camouflage relies on stillness. If the T-Rex could only see movement, an Edmontosaurus standing perfectly still in a grove of metasequoia trees would effectively be invisible. Evolution does not reward such a glaring weakness. To survive here, a predator needed to distinguish a motionless meal from a rock or a tree stump. As we pan across our digital reconstruction of this habitat, we see a world filled with visual noise. Wind blowing through palms, water rippling, insects buzzing. If a predator's vision was triggered only by movement, it would be constantly distracted by the environment, yet blind to the stoic prey hiding in plain sight. Furthermore, the T-Rex did not rule in a vacuum. It competed with agile, sharp-eyed rivals. In the ruthless calculus of nature, a 9-ton carnivore requiring hundreds of pounds of meat a day cannot afford a sensory handicap. The movement-based vision theory suggests that the king of dinosaurs would starve to death in a forest full of food, simply because the food didn't wave hello. The ecosystem itself tells us this theory is impossible. But as we are about to see, the anatomy of the skull proves it is absurd. Now, let us strip away the skin and examine the architecture of the skull, for the bones themselves hold the definitive proof that destroys the Hollywood myth. When we rotate our digital model of the Tyrannosaurus Rex cranium to view it face on, we notice a crucial geometric detail. The back of the skull is exceptionally wide, but the snout sharply narrows as it reaches the eyes. This wedge shape is not accidental. In many carnivorous dinosaurs, Like the Carcharodontosaurus, the eyes are positioned on the sides of the head, offering a wide field of view but limited depth perception. But the T-Rex is different. The tapered snout clears the line of sight, allowing the eyes to face directly forward. This arrangement creates a significant overlap in the visual fields of the left and right eyes, granting the T-Rex a superpower known as stereoscopic or binocular vision. This is the hallmark of a precision hunter. It is the same optical engineering found in modern wolves, humans, and birds of prey. It allows the brain to triangulate an object's position, calculating distance and depth with mathematical accuracy. Without this, a predator cannot lunge with precision. It would be guessing. But the T-Rex wasn't just okay at this. Paleontological analysis, specifically the work pioneered by Professor Kent Stevens at the University of Oregon, has modeled the optical properties of this setup. The results are startling. While humans possess excellent vision, the Tyrannosaurus operated on a completely different level. Its visual acuity, the ability to distinguish fine detail, was estimated to be up to 13 times greater than that of a human. To put that into perspective, an eagle, the gold standard for animal vision, has about 3.6 times the acuity of a human. This means the T-Rex had eyes far sharper than a modern hawk. It could theoretically distinguish objects clearly from up to 6 kilometers away. The movie explained the dinosaur's poor vision by suggesting it had frog DNA. But dinosaurs are not frogs. They are the ancestors of birds. And like a bird of prey, the T-Rex relied on sight as a primary weapon. If you were to stand perfectly still in the rain, mere inches from its snout, the T-Rex would not be confused. It would see you in terrifying, high-definition clarity. It would see the texture of your skin, the dilation of your pupils, and the trembling of your muscles. Far from being blind to stationary objects, the Tyrannosaurus Rex likely possessed the greatest visual acuity of any terrestrial animal in the history of our planet. It didn't just see the world, it dominated it through sight. But vision was only the final locking mechanism in a much more terrifying arsenal. To fully understand why the don't move strategy is a suicide mission, we must look at the entire sensory suite of this predator. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was not hunting with its eyes alone. It was operating a multisensory dragnet that made hiding impossible. The hunt begins long before visual contact is made. Our CT scans of the brain case reveal olfactory bulbs, the organs responsible for smell that are enormous, roughly the size of grapefruits. This proportion is larger than in any other dinosaur. This suggests a sense of smell so acute it could detect a carcass or a living herd from miles away. If you were standing in that paddock, sweating in fear, the T-Rex would likely smell the chemical signature of your terror long before it saw you. Complementing this was an ear structure designed for a silent world. The cochlea of the T-Rex is remarkably long, tuned specifically to low-frequency sounds, infrasound. It could hear the deep, resonant footsteps of prey, or the low vocalizations of its own kind over vast distances. It could likely hear the thudding of a heart, or the sharp intake of breath in a quiet forest. So, let us replay the scenario. You are standing frozen, the rain is falling, you are not moving a muscle. To the movie monster, you are invisible. To the real animal, you are a beacon. Its nose has already registered your scent. Its ears have pinpointed your location. And now, its binocular eyes have locked onto your silhouette against the fence. By freezing, you haven't tricked the predator. You have simply made yourself an easier target. You have removed the variable of speed, allowing the hunter to calculate the strike with calm, mathematical precision. In the real Cretaceous, stillness was not a shield. It was an invitation. So, where did this dangerous myth come from? The film explains it away with a plot device. The geneticists filled the gaps in the dinosaur DNA with frog DNA. It is true that some amphibians have vision largely triggered by the movement of small prey, like flies. But Tyrannosaurus Rex was not a frog. It was an archosaur, a member of the ruling reptile group that includes modern crocodiles and birds. Look at the T-Rex's living relatives. A crocodile does not lose sight of a wildebeest simply because the animal stops drinking and stands still. An eagle does not lose track of a rabbit because it freezes in the grass. In fact, for a predator with binocular vision, a stationary target is easier to process than a moving one. The don't move fallacy is a cinematic necessity, a way to give human characters a fighting chance against an overpowered antagonist. But in the biological reality of the Cretaceous, this strategy would fail 100% of the time. By freezing, you are effectively posing for a portrait. You are allowing the predator to utilize its depth perception to the fullest, stripping away the visual noise of the environment and isolating your form. The movie gave us a monster with a convenient handicap. Science gives us a predator with no such weakness. The Tyrannosaurus Rex needs no fictional handicap to be terrifying. When we strip away the Hollywood makeup, we are left with a predator of unmatched evolutionary perfection. It did not need to be tricked by a parlor game to be interesting. It possessed the crushing bite of a hydraulic press, the olfactory radar of a bloodhound, and as we now know, visual acuity that shames the modern eagle. The true king of the Cretaceous was not a monster stumbling in the dark. It was a hyper-alert sentinel that saw its world in terrifying high definition. What feature of the Tyrannosaurus Rex impresses you the most? Comment below with the dinosaur you want us to create a dossier for next. And don't forget to like and subscribe to join our journey back to the lost world.